Well, it's 3 straight losses for the Illini as they came oh so close to knocking off Michigan here at the Big House. Andy Olson, Robert Rosenthal with you on the field here right after the game for the Sunday No Huddle. And Robert, I think we'll start with that. It was oh so close, and the Illini looked like they did enough to win this game in the end, but just didn't come out with it.
Yeah, I mean, the big picture is everything here. Mm-hmm. This is the number 3 team in the country. Had Illinois pulled it off, had one of those penalties been called on 4th down, it would have been a top 5 win in program history. So to get within a field goal with 10 seconds left of winning over number 3 in the country is a really big deal.
Yeah.
Unimaginable years ago. Look, 2016 is the last time Illinois was here. It wasn't even close to a game. Illinois had basically one positive offensive play the entire game. It was a long pass from Jeff George Jr. to Malik Turner, and he spun out of 2 defenders and ran it in for a touchdown. Illinois' only points of the game. The rest of the game was a complete and total drubbing. So to go from that to this, it's just massive leap forward for the program.
Yeah, and it looked as if they just needed 2 more first downs at the end of the 4th quarter. Still windy out here. If you didn't know, the weather played a little bit of a factor in this game. Robert Chase Brown played such a good game again. Tommy DeVito did what he needed to do. When needed on offense, the defense, after a scripts drive by Michigan that went down the field and scored, kept him out of the end zone. After that point, only field goals from there on out. We'll do the defense now. Just what did you make of the way that they rebounded after some tough games against Michigan State, Purdue?
Yeah, the scripted drive was tough. You're sitting there at 7-0 and you're thinking, is this going to be, is this the game where everything falls apart and they give up 38 or something like that? But then after, they made some adjustments and that was, it settled down. And look, it's a defense that can be counted on, even against the number 3 team in the country. It's kind of crazy to see it that way, but that's the truth. It's just really hard to close out games, and this was a almost and nearly get there. Look, Andy, I'm sitting here holding off on my anger.
Yeah.
As a fan, the fact that pick play was not called, the fact that they called pass interference on the very next play, even everyone in the stadium had the feeling of, you know what? This feels like the Big Ten trying to get Michigan into the playoff kind of thing, you know? When it's one drive and the refs making every move in the final 5 minutes to still give Michigan a chance to win, it's just infuriating from a fan standpoint because you think you're there and you've done everything you can to beat number 3 on the road. You have them in 4th down. They clearly go block your guy on a pass that's not behind the line of scrimmage, and it's not called. And it's hard to feel like it's not called because of the 110,000 people that were here that all want to go to a playoff game.
Yeah, and Brett Bielema even said immediately after the game that he's pissed off, and he had those same sentiments following the Michigan State.
I mean, imagine you're the coach.
Yeah.
You've fought with these players. You've put them in a position.
Yeah.
You get all the way to that level, and then you see things like that. How could any coach who cares about his players not be angry for them?
Yeah.
It would be impossible not to.
And it was good to see that kind of emotion out of Brett Bielema post-game because of that.
Yes.
Talking about the offense, look, Michigan's defense, right up there with Illinois, one of the best in the country. If you look at team defense as the stat, Michigan number 1, Illinois number 2. So it's really, the stats tell you 2 of the best in the country. DeVito and Chase Brown doing what they need to do. Chase Brown on an ankle that is not right now. He was telling us post-game that when he was cutting, it did not feel very good to him. Still ran for 140 yards, 2 scores. Those guys buying into what Bielema's doing, because it could have been so easy to fold after the really tough previous 2 games. They came out and gave Michigan hell in this one.
This was a warrior performance.
Yeah.
No question about it. We see Chase walking around after the game. We see how much in pain he is. Mm-hmm. It was just a warrior performance. Look, to me, I'm gonna probably regret saying this as soon as I say it. But to me, this was as I don't care about the loss. As a fan, it's crushing. Mm-hmm. But you went on the road against number 3, and if it's stolen from you, it's stolen from you. Mm-hmm. And okay, that's fine. you still outperform Michigan at Michigan. You know, it's hard. You know, look, I'm walking out of the stadium feeling a lot better than Michigan fans. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Was there a particular performance today that stood out to you in this one, would you say? Because there were so many. I mean, Devin Witherspoon was really good all day. He was the best player, I think, on defense. Chase Brown, like we've already said, having another. We're used to it. Chase Brown only has great days. As soon it just becomes the standard for him.
Yes.
But who for you really stuck out?
I thought Tommy DeVito was really, really good. You know, look at the tornadoes of cups and paper that keep going around this stadium. Nobody really understands what wind is like and how it is to throw the ball in the wind and to throw the long ball in the wind and everything else. So, you know, I'll even say that on that final Hail Mary, so I'm up in the press box there behind us. You know, the Hail Mary happened at about the 20 or 15 right here. The Michigan guys set up, and as they're jumping, I'm thinking they set up short. Like they're thinking this thing's going to die in the wind, and it did not die in the wind. And I was wanting at least one receiver for Illinois just to sneak behind all the DBs. No. You know, they left it open, and it cleared all their heads. There was just nobody there to possibly make the catch. For him to even make that throw, I mean, that was a heck of a throw. It just capped a really, really good day. So, you know, it's hard to even look at a loss like this on the road at number 3 and be at all upset about anything. Look, I travel and follow this team like they're the Grateful Dead or something, and I have never had this feeling. I've never felt like the program is in this position, because, you know, whatever happened, and whatever the outcome is, the outcome is. But to me, this is as solid a performance and a stand toe-to-toe with number 3, and there's really nothing for me to complain about.
Looking forward now, they have the final regular season game against Northwestern, 1-10 Northwestern, after they lost to Purdue on Saturday. That also means that Illinois can't win the Big Ten or go to the Big Ten championship game now. So it will be 13 games. Win against Northwestern, see who you're going to play in the bowl game, win that game. A 9-4 finish to the season still is the best season since 2007.
Yes. And there's nothing that really, you know, yes, it's a 3-game losing streak. I think for me, you put all of that stuff to bed with the 2 home losses. Those were disappointing.
Sure.
Those are what took the Big Ten championship game away. You know, you had your chance against Michigan State and against Purdue at home, and you didn't take advantage of it, and that's that. This game is a completely different category. You know, it was no longer really there because, you know, kind of Purdue just needs to win 2 games over, you know, 2 teams that are going to go 3-9 or 1-10 or whatever. And then, you know, I guess Iowa is still in the picture as of now. But, yeah, it's this. All of that was put to bed last week.
Yeah.
To me, this game was look to where the program stands, see how you do against number 3, and it was a toe-to-toe game.
You've been talking about these, you know, these changes of where the program is now to where it has been previously. Everyone at home knows what you're talking about because they experienced it with you. But what about this program is different, would you say? Just viewing from the outside, seeing what you saw on the field behind us today, just how is that different? Because we all know it's different. We see that it's different.
But I think it's 2 things.
Yeah.
It's buy-in and it's competence. You know, look, I get reactions from fans on Twitter all the time. Illinois gives up that first touchdown and go, 3 and out in the first 2 drives or whatever. People are in my mentions, they're on our Slack channel, they are angry and yelling and why are, you know, and this and that. And I look at all this stuff and my reaction to every ounce of it is, do people not remember?
Yeah.
Like, do you not remember how bad we've been for 25 years? You know, look, this is not to say this coaching staff's going to win 8 games every year.
Sure.
Or that, you know, that they have a fair number of NFL players on this roster right now. Several of them may leave early for the NFL. Next year could be a struggle. We don't know. But what we do know is competence. What we've seen since, the Penn State game last year. I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head as we're saying this. I think in the fourth quarter, Illinois has had a chance to win, either tie or take the lead of all the losses in every game since then.
I think
So
so.
the last 5 games of last year and the first
Mhm.
11, so 16 consecutive games
Mhm.
of a fourth quarter where the game is not over, including playing number 3 on the road on national TV. It's competence that Illinois has not seen since the late 80s and John Makovic, and it's very exciting for this Illini fan.
Yeah, as upset as Brett Bielema was his post-game press conference, I think that's good for Illini fans that he's not taking this one well either, because he really wanted this win. The players really wanted this win, and unfortunately they come up short in this one. 19-17 is the final here from Michigan Stadium. And Robert, only one more regular season game coming up against Northwestern. Should be a win, 8-4. You always talk about that 8-win mark being kind of the key.
Look, I'm not ready to count it yet. Northwestern played close with Purdue. They played close with Ohio State. They're close, and they want to win this game like nobody's business. So I'm not ready to count it a win just yet. But yes, as you said, there will now be 13 games, which means the worst possible record this season is 7-6, which is the best result since 2007.
Yeah.
Best regular season result in 15 years, and that's something to hang your hat on.
Well, it's been an exciting season. It was my first trip to the Big House here. I'll say I was a big fan.
Yeah.
I love that it's just one bleacher up.
Yep.
No tiers or anything like that. Definitely an old school stadium, and definitely a fun one to knock off the bucket list. Robert, we appreciate your time as
got it.
always, and we will talk to you after the Northwestern game.
All right, sounds good.